Hey guys, what's up? This is Cody back here once again for another video. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a movie review of a brand new concert film that was just released by probably my favorite heavy metal band. They were the first true heavy metal band that I ever heard. When I was younger, I would listen to things like Guns N' Roses or Led Zeppelin, but I consider those bands more hard rock. And this band was the first true heavy metal band that I ever heard. I heard one of their biggest songs, Enter Sandman, back when I was really young, and ever since then I've loved this band, and I've kept up with them, and I've pretty much heard everything that they put out. But once I found out that they were doing a concert movie, I got extremely excited because I knew that they were going to make it great. I knew they would make it unique, and I was not disappointed. And the movie I'm talking about is Metallica Through the Never. Now, I originally wanted to go see this movie in theaters, but unfortunately I did not get a chance to. It just money, whatever. But this came out on DVD, and I just picked this up this weekend and just recently popped it in. I just finished watching it actually, and I must say I was not disappointed. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a synopsis on storyline, and then I'll get into what I thought about it. Basically, of course, the movie was filmed, during a Metallica concert. Originally, I thought that the concert was from their tour. I thought that they just filmed the show from their tour and then, put that into the movie. Turns out that they didn't. They actually played an entire show just for the movie. And everybody in the audience, they knew that they were going to be in the movie, So, everything that happens, in the show was made just for the movie, But, basically the movie starts off with, you see an arena. It's a really, really huge arena. It's an indoor one. And you see, like, the parking lot outside, and you hear different radio stations talking about Metallica coming and playing this show, and everyone's really excited about it. And then you see this car pull up, and basically this kind of fat guy comes out. He's pretty drunk. And he's dressed up in his leather jacket with a bunch of band, symbols all over it. And he's like, "Whoa, Metallica!" Just one of those drunk metalheads, And he tries to get up on his car, and he almost slips. And he ends up jumping on the hood, and it's like, Metallica really excited about it. Which I thought, it was pretty funny. They just sort of, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual movie. It was just sort of there at the beginning, but I thought that was pretty funny. Then, you're actually introduced to the main character. You actually see a boy skateboarding down the street on a skateboard, and he's got his hood up. As you guys saw right here, he has his hood up and everything, so you don't get to see his face, and he's basically skating to the arena. You find out it doesn't say his name in the movie, but his name is actually Trip, and in the movie, and his name is Dana DeHaan, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure, but he was in a movie. He's in some of the movies like A Place Beyond the Pines, A Place Beyond the Pines, Kill Your Darlings, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and 3, which I'm kind of surprised. It says it on the back. I'm kind of surprised it says 3. I didn't know they were going to make 3 of them, 3 Spider-Man movies, which I wish they didn't. But he shows up and he has a pass, and he's actually a roadie for Metallica. So he goes inside. And he's basically walking through backstage. Everybody's getting stuff ready, for the show and everything. And one thing I sort of noticed about the beginning of it was it almost seemed like that none of the band members really liked Trip for some reason. Like at one point you see Kirk, and he's messing with his guitar, and he just sort of looks at the kid and then sort of looks back to him. And when I say kid, I don't mean like a young kid. He looks like 17 or 18 maybe. I'm not really sure how old he is, but he just sort of looks at him, and at one point he walks past Lars, and Lars just sort of turns and just stares at him for a minute. Just sort of glares at him and turns back. Another funny thing is when he's walking, through everybody getting ready backstage, there's actually a point in it where he looks into a room, and it's Robert, however you pronounce his, Trujillo, I think is how you pronounce his last name, or Trujillo, and he's doing his, if you guys have seen Metallica live, you see that Robert does this like crab walk thing with his bass. He's doing that, and a whole room is surrounded by speakers, and the entire room is just vibrating. Which, of course, rooms like that, that doesn't exist, but for the movie it was just really cool, and the kid sort of looks in there, looks at him, and then keeps walking by, which I thought was funny. But, yeah, so of course Metallica, they of course go up on stage. The stage in the whole movie is amazing. It's basically just like the whole floor of the arena is their stage, and then of course the audience is all the way around it. And there's different things projected underneath the stage. Like, the first song that they play is a Creeping Death, and while they're playing it, a big red mask comes out underneath the stage. Like, they're sort of like, I don't want to say monitors, but basically they're like screens, basically, at the bottom of the stage, and they reflect different pictures, or different, scenes of whatever, and it looks pretty cool. It looks really cool. While they're playing, a guy comes over to Trip and tells them that there was a van that was actually coming to the Metallica show that just ran out of gas. And there's something in the van that the band desperately needs for the show. And it's a very important thing in the show. And they tell Trip, hey man, could you go, you gotta go get this, man. And we'll pay you money. So basically, they give him a gas tank, and he basically goes out. And basically the whole movie is him just trying to get whatever the band needs to play. And, it's kind of funny. He goes over to this van. I'm sure it's the van that he drives around, throws a skateboard in the back, and then you see a little sort of doll thing hanging by a noose from his ceiling of his van. And that doll comes into play later on in the movie. I don't want to explain what happens because I don't want to give it away. It's just kind of something that's kind of weird and sort of sitting there. But basically the whole movie is that it goes back and forth. You see basically Metallica performing at the show, what they're doing. Basically it's a normal Metallica show. If you guys have seen Metallica live, then you guys should know that they put on an amazing show. They're one of the best live bands that I hope to see. I've never got a chance to actually see them live, but I hope that they see them. And they basically do everything that they normally do. Basically it shows them performing the song, or whatever song that they're on, and then it cuts to Trip and what he's doing. And while the band is inside playing, so many things are going on outside. I'm not going to give everything away, but Trip, one of his wheels pops while he's driving. He gets a flat tire, and then he gets hit by a car. And then it topples the van over, and he gets knocked out. And when he gets up, he just sees this guy who's like, he dressed in a suit, and his face is all bloody. And Trip is like, hey, you hit me. And then the guy looks really terrified over something, and then he turns and he runs away. As the movie goes on, you find out that there is actually anarchy going on. Basically, there's a whole huge group of people, and they're basically just destroying the city. You see Trip, he's walking around, and he sees nothing but, he sees fire, he sees cars busted up, and it's basically just a bunch of people that are just going crazy and trying to take over the city, basically. Nothing is really explained in it, though, because, nothing. You don't know why they're doing it, it's just happening. Which I kind of like the idea. It's like, of course, whatever took place before the show is why they're doing it, but it never tells you why. It's just from the point Metallica get there to the point they leave. So whatever events takes place before they get there and after, it's never explained, Which at one point some people might be bothered by that because you don't really understand what's going on, but at another point, But the scenes in it, it's like really great. Like at one point, Trip, he's just walking and he turns and he sees a whole group of people, and there's like hundreds of people. They all got hoods on. They all got like bandanas around their face like this. They all got bats. They got hammers, and they're just standing there. And then Trip turns, and over here is the entire SWAT team, and they all get into this big huge fight. While this is going on, there's a guy on this horse, and he's got like a hazmat mask on. This kind of mask they use in hazmat suits. Well, not gas mask. That's what it is. It's a gas mask. And he has a little noose that he does, and he basically grabs people by the throat and kills them. And he has this mace on it, and he notices Trip and basically starts going after him. And the whole movie is just him trying to escape from this guy and him trying to figure out what is going on. There's a lot of, that's pretty much the main thing that's going on. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the show, like during Injustice for All, they build this giant fake statue that, if you know the cover of Injustice for All, they have the huge thing like that, which I think that they used to do that on stage. I think back in the 80s, they used to have that, where they would have, the big sort of statue thing. It's a fake statue, and then they would smash it down and it would collapse once the song was over. They do that. They play they play all their best stuff, of course. They play Creeping Death, Enter Sandman, Master of Puppets, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Nothing Else Matters, just pretty much everything. In pretty much all their best stuff they play. And then, of course, it's cut to Trip and him trying to find the van that has whatever they need for the show. I don't want to give away whether or not you figure out what it is or not, but the whole idea is him trying to just escape from, the mob that's going around and everything. Also, I was going to say this, at the very end of the movie, within the last 20 minutes, you kind of have to just turn your brain off, because there's some things that happen at the end they don't really explain. I'm not going to give too much away. I will say at one point Trip is beaten, and he's beaten in a back alley. And then when he wakes up, he's on top of a building, which it's never explained how he got up there. The guy that I told you about that has the mask on, that's basically out there, killing people and whatnot, he's up there with him, so I guess he brought him up there, maybe. Also, there's something that happens with the doll that I told you about that Trip has, that is very unbelievable, because it makes no sense. So, if you're watching the movie, after about, 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes of the movie, just cut your brain off, because there's going to be stuff that happens in the movie that are not going to make any sense. But that's just the last bit of it. But this is after Metallica played pretty much their entire show, after Trip went through all this, and, it's just something that you just gotta look past. Now, my own personal thoughts on the movie, I loved it. First off, Metallica, just their show itself was amazing. Second of all, Trip, the character, I thought it was a really good idea, just having just the entire, huge group of people in the town go crazy. And basically there's just fighting going on in the streets and stuff, and Trip's only job is to get whatever Metallica needs and get it back to the arena. And what he goes through is really, really great. It's got a good storyline. I've seen some concert films that, they'll have a different character of the band and what they enjoy when they're not touring or whatever, whereas this one, it's an entire movie that just happens to be taking place during a Metallica show. So, yeah, there's a lot of things going on, but, at the same, and there's a lot of things that, might be a bit confusing for some people. They might not understand what's going on, but, because like I said, none of it's really explained. It's just people go crazy, and they're basically trying to destroy the city, and this kid has to get whatever Metallica needs and get back to the show. That's the whole plot of the movie. It's never really explained what happens before and what happens after. So, can I recommend Metallica Through to Never? Yes, I can. If you are a fan of Metallica, I'm sure if you're a fan of Metallica, you've probably already seen this because this has been out for a while, but if you have not seen it, I highly, highly recommend checking this out. It's been called, by critics, one of the best concert films of all time, and I definitely say it is. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. I wouldn't call it the best, there are some things about it I didn't like I said, the last 20 minutes don't really make any sense, and I think that the sound audio could have been better, in a way, because there are some points in the show where you'll see somebody backstage talking to someone else, and you can't hear them because the sound is because the music is so loud, and I kind of think that they could have at least had a mic on that person, so you at least knew what the person was saying during it. But other than that, that's just minimal things, because this was an amazing show. Like I said, the acting is good, the story's a good story, it's not just oh, let's just have Metallica play and just make up stuff, and make it a movie. No, it's a good story, there's a lot of great action in it, there's some violent scenes in it, there's even a couple of scenes that are, well, not a couple, there's actually one scene that's actually a generally creepy scene. And that's when Trip is walking through the city, and there's a bunch of people just hanging from buildings and stuff, like in nooses, and it's actually a pretty creepy scene. But like I said, if you're a fan of Metallica, I cannot recommend this enough. I just got a chance to see this, and I'll definitely be checking it out again. Just, if you're a fan of Metallica, I cannot recommend this enough. Definitely 4 stars. You know, I mean, if this movie had, if I understood this movie a bit more, then maybe I would have given it a higher score, but 4 stars I think is good for this. So, Metallica Through Never, that is my review of the film. Also, during the credits of the movie, Metallica is playing the song Orion, and it's basically just them playing in an empty arena, and Tripp is just sort of sitting there watching them. You know, which I thought was kind of cool, and that plays throughout the entire credits. So from beginning to end, nothing but classic rock from Metallica. You know, and it's a really, really good one. So, anyway guys, that was my first sort of movie review that I did on this channel. I'm not going to be doing movie reviews on this channel. This is my music channel. But if I see a concert movie or a concert film that I really enjoy, I'm going to do a review of that. So, you know, check that out. So, you know, I might start doing some of those. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe down below if you want to see more videos, because I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm going to be doing more music-related collections. You know, I might be doing more overviews of my music books. Kurt Cobain's birthday is coming up on the 20th, so I'm going to do a Nirvana collection video. And, you know, yeah, so if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think of the new Metallica movie. Was it as good as you hoped it was? Because I'd love to hear from some Metallica fans, you know, some die-hard fans, what they thought about the movie. So please let me know down below. Like this video if you liked it. You know, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.